Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Elevation-Obscurian exchange, cultural exchange that is. I am Zara Antonov, President of the United Republic of Obscurium, and have here with me today...
Lord Daniel from Elevatia. Thank you for having me here.
It's a great honor and pleasure. And
Yeah.
to start
Likewise.
this exchange, Lord Daniel will say a few words.
Thank you. So, hello there, and greetings, dear viewers and listeners from all the micro and macro nations. Thank you for having me here again, and we have come here today to discuss the matters of mutual interests and benefit for our people. We hope to further the cordial and respectful relationship we have between our nations and established for some time now, and to do so based on the principles of honor, justice, and cooperation. We recognize Obscurium's sovereignty and its achievements, and that is why today we seek to learn from you and share our own experience. Because I believe that by working together, we can create a better future for our micronations and for the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that very lovely speech. I couldn't agree with you more, of course. Cooperation is one of the cornerstones of the micronational community, and through cooperation, Obscurium, and I'm sure Elevatia as well, have achieved so much already. We've had cultural exchanges in the past, and we've always come out of them with more knowledge on the other micronation and with new ideas as well, and those new ideas sometimes even created completely new projects of both nations that still persist until this very day. So I'm also very much looking forward to this exchange and to the results of this, and of course to learning more about the quite fascinating nation of Elevatia.
Oh, thank you. I think all micronations are actually fascinating when you think about it. Just everyone is different, but nonetheless exciting.
Couldn't have said it better. So, we have decided to follow a similar scheme as with the Carno-Ruthenian exchange, as in that we have both prepared 6 questions. But before that, for the viewers who don't know anything about Obscurium or Elevatia, who see us for the first time in their lives and we're thinking, who are these people? Why am I listening to them? Why don't you say something about what Elevatia is and about the history of your nation?
Oh, all right. So Elevatia, or the official name is the city-state of Elevatia. It's a small micronation in Central Europe that is surrounded from all sides by its neighbor, Czech Republic, and not just from the sides, but from top and bottom too, because, Elevatia, as it's in our name, is elevated, and we are up. So we are completely surrounded by our neighbor, but we like it that way. And our nation is small, not very populous, but we try to be, unique as all micronations, and we like to have our way of life and to follow principles we think are important for a world, for our souls, and to be noble, because Elevatia is very based on an ideal of chivalry and, fantasizing. Well, that's, I think, most about us, the most important things.
Thank you very much for that little introduction to Elevatia. Obscurium is not quite surrounded by Germany because we don't really claim any territory. We have a ceremonial claim here in Kiel, where I reside, but Obscurium doesn't...
Yes, your Flagopolis.
I'm sorry?
Yes, your Flagopolis, if I remember correctly.
Yes, exactly. But we really started out as a crazy communist project trying to take over Mars, which after a year developed into Obscurium. And
I have to say it's nice that you've rebranded.
Yes, there's been quite a lot of rebranding, flags and everything. Citizens, there have been a few who've been there from the start, but by now we've quite grown to encompass 14 citizens. Quite a bunch of
Respectable
lovely
number.
people, and developed our culture as well, and our national identity over time. We are really about being obscure, but weird. We love dragons, and
Who doesn't?
that is true. Who doesn't? I guess Saint George doesn't like dragons very much, but
That is true.
that's what Obscurium is really about. And
And
we do like our parades.
yeah, and you're doing them marvelously.
Yeah, even if they aren't recorded usually due to
Well, technical difficulties we know it all ourselves.
Indeed. All right, having had a little introduction into both micronations, we shall start with our questions now. I guess we'll do it just like last time. One of us starts. I'll let the guest start again, and then the other one
Thank you.
asks the next question. So, go ahead.
So, for my first questions, I thought about what makes the micronation, and it's what makes your identity, and that is what is one binding common thing for all your citizens. Yeah, one thing that makes all of you together.
That is quite a good question, and quite an important thing for any micronation, of course. There needs to be something connecting the people.
Yes.
And in Obscurium's case, I touched on a little bit on it earlier. It's the big one, of course, is dragons. We all absolutely love dragons, and whenever there's something cultural coming up, there's always the question: how do we, make it related to dragons? Like, even if it doesn't have anything to do with dragons, we've got to stamp dragons onto it. It just needs. That's how it needs to be. Dragons need to be involved in everything.
That's a great philosophy, actually.
I mean, take flag pullers, for example. Like the federal state of Germany, I live in Schleswig-Holstein. Germany has its dragon legends, quite a lot of them. But if you come to Schleswig-Holstein, they have the legends too. But there are no dragons up here, like literally no dragons.
No,
The next best thing is like Norse mythology, but it's not like Schleswig-Holstein really cares. But when we founded flag pullers, I didn't care. I just slapped a dragon onto it anyways.
Yeah, just put it there.
Dragon. We can't be Obscurian without a dragon, so that's
well, everything is better with dragons, to be honest.
Everything is more fun with dragons.
And pirates.
And pirates. We don't really have any pirates here, but
Oh, there's always room for improvement.
I guess so. And then, of course, Obscurian citizens are quite a weird and obscure bunch. So whenever we try to come up with something, the next thing, the thing next to dragons is it obscure? Is it weird? Does it make sense? If it doesn't make sense, that's a good thing. That's a good sign. Like, it needs to make a little bit of sense sometimes, but if it's a bit confusing, that's perfect.
It's great. Actually, it makes people ask questions, and then you can tell them more about you.
Yes, exactly.
It's ingenious.
Yeah, we can start a conversation and draw them in closer.
Conversation starter.
That's how we get them.
Nice tactic.
One recent development as well. I mean, okay, it's been kind of there since the beginning as well. Since we started out as a communist nation, we are. I think most of Obscurian citizens are quite on the progressive and sometimes even left side of the political spectrum. I do notice when we talk, have our parliamentary meetings and we talk about political issues. I guess that is also a common thing. So Obscurium, I would consider to be a liberal, progressive nation.
Yeah, that's good because you have similar ideas, so you can build a nation from up there.
Exactly. I guess those are the three main aspects that bind us together as Obscurians, obscure citizens.
Nice. Good answer, actually.
So, I believe it's my turn now.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
first
If
question
you're
I have on Elevatia is about your capital, New Elevatia. There is, of
yeah.
course, information about it on the website, but I never quite understood what New Elevatia is. Could you
Well,
explain that?
well, that's interesting questions, and I agree it can be quite confusing. Maybe we should rewrite it to make it more clear now that you mention it. Well, a simple, short answer that you can find on your website too is that New Elevatia is the capital and the only current city of the city-state of Elevatia. So basically, Elevatia is New Elevatia. But for how it started, New Elevatia is actually our second settlement in history. Our micronation first lived in a city called just Elevatia. That was before we even established our micronation publicly. It was at the time when I was thinking about creating a micronational project, and it was meant to be our base. However, before we could even publicly proclaim our micronation, it became clear that Elevatia, the old Elevatia, if you want, is just not going to support us going forward. It was smaller than New Elevatia. The placement was just not so, good for us, and there were some other issues. So we just knew that it became clear that if we have to move forward, we have to resettle to a new place, and actually, we thankfully have an opportunity to resettle, and that's when the New Elevatia was born. But it was a new place, but I didn't want to just start anew with the project that I had in mind for Elevatia as a nation, micronation. So because the basis of work on our, appearance and everything was already done, so the only logical thing was to make it, call it a New Elevatia. That's it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, we have this history on our website where we even have a little old-time legend about how it all came to be, because we like tales, and it's in a form of tale.
Indeed,
There's even a way.
I read that as well. But what I was specifically wondering about with this question, because on the website, New Elevatia looks like a model. The computer graphic you have there, it looks like a model. So is that actually a model you have in reality as well, or how am I supposed to imagine New
Well,
Elevatia?
that's a little harder to find, because on our website we also have a part where we have our informations, our proclamations and statements, and in one of them I actually touched this topic that the Elevatia is a physical place. It's where we live, but also I wanted to make this model that's computer generated, to give the people a glimpse of what our ideal state would be. So, and it's tied to actual physical appearance, but in an idealized form. So it's both physical and digital. Depends if we are looking for the digital one that's on the website that we can share openly and make people, think about how it looks and maybe dream a little. And there's the physical one that we inhabit.
I see. That does clear it up. Thank you very much.
Yeah, probably.
All right, moving on
So,
to the next question.
second question.
Yes.
Yeah. So as we've talked before about the thing that binds your citizens, then I would like to ask you about your other citizens, because you are the main visible one from all the Obscurian citizens. But I think, could you give a little notice to other notable Obscurian citizens?
I would love to do so, yes. So we definitely have a couple of other notable citizens. Thing is, most of Obscurian citizens don't really like to have their faces online. So
Yeah, it's quite problematic.
I'm the public face of Obscurium, and in most pictures, almost any picture you'll find, it's going to be me, because I don't have a
It's
problem with
okay for
having
you.
my
If
face
it
online.
works, it works.
But there are still, I couldn't run Obscurium without the help of my fellow citizens, and the one
Yeah.
I would like to mention are, for example, our national artist, Jessie B&B Sketches, who has been a citizen from the very beginning, and she has provided us with very beautiful works of art since the very beginning as well. She's made posters for us. She's made postcards for us. She even made the middle coat of arms of Obscurium, the government's logo. And recently we started a project where she makes traditional art pieces, and we sell them on our website, on Obscurium's website, and the profits from that all go back into Obscurium.
That's great.
So sorry, but I have to use this opportunity for a little shout out for that project. You can find it in Obscurium's national store, because nobody has bought the art yet. So you could be the first lucky person to get some art.
That's
But
always the first time.
the Jessie has been doing that for us, and we are very grateful to her for her services in that regard. And then, of course, we have Jericho Franson, formerly known as Andrew Franson, who ran a micronation called Adonia. He joined us at the last months of last year, of 2022, and he's the vice president of Obscurium now. But even before, he's been giving me good advice and has helped me run the government affairs of Obscurium, alongside Edward Frupney, who is our new Minister of Foreign Affairs, and working already on restructuring our approach to foreign affairs a little. And he's very active. You know, he immediately jumped into the work and was quite happy to help out. He's also quite important. And then, of course, we have our Supreme Judge, Jan Olaf Spiekermann, who has also been advising me and helping me out here and there, and he was, of course, also our Supreme Judge, taking care of constitutional affairs. And last but not least, I would like to mention Mr. Clostridium Botunilum, who is also one of our more recent citizens. He doesn't really have any official position, and he isn't seen anywhere on photos or anything. In fact, I don't even know what he looks like. But he has been advising me and helping me out with the basic law and with the new legal code of Obscurium quite a lot, and his advice has been invaluable in
professional
those regards. So he is very important indeed to Obscurium's success.
Great to hear, because I thought that this would be a great opportunity for you to, give notice to other people. It's great to hear that there are so many active citizens in Obscurium that are, contributing to your nation. Thank you.
No problem. I'm quite glad. I'm quite glad we have so many active citizens now. It's been a long road getting there, but we are active now, and I hope we shall remain active and get even more active in the future.
I will wish you to remain on this path and go forward with it.
Thank you. My next question to you would be, what is your most important national holiday, and how do you celebrate it? National holiday being one of my favorite topics to talk about.
Yeah. I noticed that this is something you really like to discuss. And if I remember correctly, you even discussed it in your previous exchange.
Exactly, that's a question I always like to ask.
Well, this question is quite a broad one, actually, and it's not that easy to answer. I would say that different holidays we have offer different types of importance. Well, there's a Christmas, which we celebrate on December 24th, as it's in the Czech Republic too. But it's definitely one of the more important ones. Even though we celebrate in a secular, not religious form, it's a time of rest, peacefulness, and generosity, and which is something I think many people can identify as well. And
Definitely.
even though it's not a unique holiday, just for us, it's still very important. But also there are others, of course. There is our Unification Day, which we celebrate on the 2nd of May, which is a really important holiday as well. Signifies the union between me and Lady Lucia and the formation of our ruling family, which is the basis of the whole subsequent emergence of Elevatia as a micronation. However, this holiday is more personal one. It's something for us, not really the type of that we could project it outside of Elevatia. So it's important, but it's not internationally important. I would say. Which brings me to the Declaration Day, which we celebrate on 5th of November. And that's the time when we celebrate the official foundation of our micronation. It's something that could be very well advertised outside and for the whole world. And it's a date when we have signed our constitution and declared Elevatia to be officially formed. So in that meaning, it's probably the most important of all, because without it, Elevatia wouldn't even exist. But there are other holidays that are quite important as well.
Yes. Of course, that declaration of a nation is kind of the most important event, but that doesn't make the other holidays you just mentioned any less important.
Yeah, every one of them has its significance, and it's hard to choose a favorite one. It's like with children, you can just say, "Hey,
yeah,
I like
exactly.
you best."
That's not gonna work.
Yeah, it could, but it leads to many problems.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go down that path. So, what would your next question be?
Yeah, thank you. For my third question, I thought about how do you plan your micronations development? Do you like to, make it planned, or just do you develop organically, naturally? Just whatever comes to your mind, it becomes the new norm, or is there some bigger plan you have for Obscurium?
Well, every good communist loves a good 5-year plan. We're not communists. We are not communists anymore. So
thankfully, it would make you much more.
We don't believe in 5-year plans or any other. Obscurium, I do have, I guess, a vision, more or less. The whole basic idea of Obscurium is to be the perfect state, like a state truly theirs for its people, the best possible state a people could want. So that is kind of the long-term plan, but it's more like a goal, and there's no real plan on how to exactly get there. Exactly, like I have a plan to one day have a constitution that can actually be applied to a nation of any size, because our basic law right now was specifically written so it only applies to Obscurium as it is now, and doesn't deal with any topics like housing and taxes and all that, because that's still in the future for us. But besides those goals we have in the future, the development of Obscurium is quite organic and I wouldn't say chaotic, but we never know what's gonna happen next. I mean, at the beginning or at our last Declaration Day, because we celebrated Declaration Day too. At our last Declaration Day, I didn't really know what to say about Obscurium's future plans, except for the Micro Euro Summit, but I could say that every year, because I was kind of out of ideas. We had done everything, and then next parliamentary meeting, oh, this comes up. We need a national food. We need a new holiday to celebrate dragons. Oh, new exchange here, new exchange there. Oh, we need a legal code. Oh, there's this other new holiday. There's always something coming up.
Solving problems as they come, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Or coming up with new creative things. For example, when we were looking for something creative for our citizens to do, we came up with a drawing contest, which is actually going to end tomorrow, and then we're going to vote on the winning drawing, which is going to be featured on our new postal stamp.
So I have to say that's one of the things I really like about Obscurium, that you have such a appreciation for art. That's something that I can get behind.
Art is very important. to me
I
personally, and
agree.
I do believe to almost all of Obscurian citizens as well.
It's actually really great because I think not so many micronations are so keen on it as you are, for example.
I mean, yeah, I guess I don't see too many micronations handling ours the way we do. With Obscurium, it's quite a lot in quite a lot of places. But I mean, that's the advantage of having a great national artist, I guess, and quite a few
True.
other talented people as well.
Yeah, what would be art without talent?
So, my next question to you
Yes.
is about your foreign relations. I was wondering if you are in contact with any other Czech micronations.
Well, to answer this shortly again, not really. We have shared a few posts on Twitter with, for example, Principality of Mendersia. And on MicroWiki, I had a short talk with Tomáš Falešník from Gymnasium State, who is also an administrator for MicroWiki, I think. But that's more or less it. I think there are a few other people from other Czech micronations who have contacted me over the time we are existing, but usually they just came up with immediate offerings of military treaties and never followed it again through
Yeah.
when I explained to them that it's maybe a bit too forward for us and it's not really what we are looking for. So then there
I'm
was a
quite
silence
familiar with
again.
those.
Yeah, I guess every micronation is familiar with this.
So
So we are well, we are not against socializing with other Czech micronations, but on the other hand, I do not think there are even any other Czech micronations in our immediate vicinity, of Elevatia. So we treat the communications with them just like with any other micronation in the world. So if they come and they are nice, we would really like to, work with them. But it's not like we are actively having communication just before they are neighbors, because there are not many of them.
it's interesting because when my friend Arthur of Dictionary was trying to get micronations to attend the Micro Euro Summit, which is taking place in Czechia, he contacted like 20 different Czech micronations, and none of them are going to attend, and I think most of them didn't even reply. So it seems to me from your response that the Czech micronational community might be a bit on the more inactive side. Could that be?
Probably yes. If you are looking at the MicroWiki again, there's even a Czech mutation of it, where there seems to be like many of Czech micronations in reality. But I think that they are just a universe for themselves. Probably there are people who are knowing each other even before they became, micronations, and they are keeping the talk between them. Also, there is the other thing that could be very well applied for all Czechs, from my experience, that many people are not really that comfortable speaking in English.
Oh, I
So,
see.
yeah, just keeping for themselves because they can talk in Czech between each other, and when they have to talk with someone in English, they are quite shy.
Ah, I see. I see. Yeah,
Just my opinion.
I have noticed. I've been to Czechia a few times. I've noticed that English isn't really the most commonly spoken language, especially if the people are a bit older.
Yeah, although I have to say, when I was in Austria, it was even worse.
Oh yeah.
Talking English, no one was responding to me.
East Germany. I mean that's if you go to like deep Saxony, forget about speaking English.
Yeah, and then there's a France, which is a word for itself.
Yeah, we don't even need to talk about that. I guess that's a good insight into the world of Czech micronations.
It's not something I would just, I can say with an authority, but it's my opinion that they are just a bit shy.
That will make sense. There's one Czech micronation I know of which is quite famous outside of Czechia, the Kingdom of Wallachia. We tried to get one of their representatives to attend the Micro Euro Summit, but he was a bit too busy to attend, unfortunately.
Yeah, that micronation is some like an old school micronation, but I'm not really sure if it's really active even more. I've looked at it some year or two ago, and it seems like it's in that resting state.
Yeah, could be. I didn't contact them directly. It all went over my friend Olsen, who had a friend who just happened to be a member of this micronation. So we tried to get him to come over, but
Didn't work.
I didn't have any direct conversations with them.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day, you know. Czechia isn't too far away, so.
Yeah, and you are quite often here, as I
Yeah,
have.
yeah, exactly.
So for my fourth questions, I think that maybe I will go a little bit more personal here. Don't be worried. Well, you are quite a traveler, I've noticed. So I've
Who
wondered,
told you?
what are well, internet, as always, internet. So what are your next diplomatic trips, if you can share them? Because I know that you really like to visit other nations and micronations as well.
Guilty as charged, and I'll be happy to talk about that. My next diplomatic trip is actually going to be very soon on Sunday, but it's funny because the people I'm visiting don't actually know don't actually know it's going to be a diplomatic trip.
Surprise!
It's I'm spying there. No,
Binoculars outside the window. Oh,
undercover.
yeah, just be wary of police.
No, I'll be visiting the Kingdom of Romkahal, which none of you watching have probably ever heard of, because it's a quite
Probably.
obscure German micronation. I won't go too much into detail here. What you need to know, it's a house in the very south of Lower Saxony, almost in the Harz Mountains. And allegedly, King George V of Hanover gave the house to his wife, and by doing that, it went into the ownership of the House of Saxony, and since then, it hasn't been mentioned again in any territorial exchanges. So they say today it's an independent kingdom within Germany, and they even had like a princess of the House of Saxony become queen in the 1980s. She isn't alive anymore, unfortunately, but it's run by Princess Suzanne now. And I'm going to meet up with her, going to interview her a little, and make a little documentary about the kingdom for all the English-speaking people outside of Germany who have never heard of it, because I do think it's quite an interesting story. And I'm also going to use the opportunity for a diplomatic visit, of course. But I haven't told her about that just yet, because you gotta be careful in Germany with micronations, because of the far-right imperial citizens. People tend to mix us up with them, but we don't have anything to do with each other. But if you tell someone you might make your own state, they'll probably call the police. I mean, not at that extreme, but they'll be worried. So that's going to be my next trip, and then a week later, I'll be visiting the Archduchy of Mimas in southern Sweden, Malmö, and going to have an exchange with them as well. Staying there a few days. We're also going to visit Ladonia, because they're not too far away. Gonna have a triple state visit.
That's great.
So
this time you will be expected, I guess.
Yes, this time I'll actually be expected. But it's this, like last time I visited Ladonia, when I left, I met the Minister of Art and Jump by accident, and we had a short talk. And this time we're also going to meet the Minister of Art and Jump again, but this time he's expecting us. Yes.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's really nice, and I don't have to walk. I don't have to walk all the way there, and have to use bus lines to get there this time, which is also nice. Last time I got kind of lost in the woods, and a random Swedish hiker saved me from being eaten by God knows what lives in Swedish woods.
Now that would be a way to go for Obscurian president, eaten
Yes.
by a grizzly.
I can already imagine the conspiracy theory surrounding my death. Was it an assassination attempt by the Swedish government?
Always someone.
That's my two next diplomatic visits, and they're gonna be a lot more over the course of the summer. Canited, Saborga, though unofficial, because they don't want to meet up officially. The Zenith, which is a micronation we've closely supported since the very beginning, and of course Microcon in Ypres and the Micro Euro Summit in Tichy are going to be two main diplomatic events taking place this summer.
So quite a busy schedule.
Aye, indeed.
Well, that's great. You really have something to wait for.
Yes. I forgot to set the timer again. I'm going to do it now. There we go. Right, so for my next question, I would like to ask you about your citizenry. Elevatia right now only has 3 citizens, as far as I
Yeah.
know. And I
That's
wanted
correct.
to ask you, quite obviously that is your family, the very core of
Yes.
your family. But do you ever do you ever wish to expand, or do you ever plan on expanding Elevatia's citizenry to, your immediate family around this, or even people who don't have anything to do with your family? What are your plans in that regard, if you have any?
Well, yeah, it's quite difficult to think about it. Something that's not currently in plan, to be honest, but it's something that I've been thinking about for some time. Actually, maybe in the future we could open our micronations for other possible citizens. That's true, but for now I think we will just stay as we are, because I like to grow slowly, and really establish the base for our micronation before we can
Of course.
take other people in. To be honest, and I may be a bit wary of such move, as Elevatia is a very personal project for both me and our family. So depends on people. It will have to be done very slowly and carefully to be sure that the new people would fit right in. From time to time, we get a new request for accepting someone, just as probably any micronation, as a citizen, and usually it comes with immediate wish for a high governmental position as well.
Yes.
Sure,
Can I be a citizen and also the Minister of Defense or whatever?
Yeah. And then when you tell them what they really expect from it, you never hear anything more.
Yeah, exactly. And then, and if you actually end up making them, same thing. They are not actually going to do something, which is why I can definitely understand that you want to be careful, and it's certainly something I recommend, because if you expand too quickly and too many people, you're inevitably going. Yeah, you're going to end up having a lot of inactive people.
Inactive people who are just, came up once in a while, thinking, "Hey, I'm the king of this country now," and then they will live for another 6 months. So it's not something I would like to just rush in.
Yeah, precisely.
So we never had a really, serious interest from someone so far. So it's not even an issue right now for us. But I'm certainly aware that for a proper growth as a micronation, you need more citizens. As sure you've learned by now. Especially since 1 or 2 people, really cannot do everything at once with the full commitment. If you have more people who can, specialize. So it has its merits, of course. But I really don't want to just accept people to have a higher number. So I would like to first, sort them out and find the people who are on the same wavelength and who will just fit here, and it's in the works. Yes.
Sorry, did I interrupt you?
No, you can speak.
I was just going to say that's a very good way of thinking. I definitely support that.
Yeah, thank you. But on this topic, I could add that actually I have one project that's long in the works, as most of my projects is long in the works. That's why we've not been so much active lately, because it's just not so much time for everything, and I really like to make things perfect before I put them out in the world. But I was thinking about establishing our own knight or paladin order, which will be something that could be open even to non-citizens as well. and that could be maybe interesting if someone would be interested in this and join. Then we could see if they are on the same page as we are, and maybe in the time they could join too. But this is just not ready yet. It's just something that I was thinking about. Could be good trying grounds to see if people would really hold the same values as we are. But hey, maybe one day.
Maybe one day soon, yes. Moving on to your question.
So for my fifth question, I was thinking that if you would start your micronation now, like from the start, from the ground up, would you do something differently? Well, omitting the whole communism on Mars, of course, thing. But would you make things different? Would you have a different goal in mind, or just things that we would avoid from the very beginning?
Well, that is definitely one thing I would avoid from the beginning. Definitely have a more realistic vision from the very start. Be more realistic, on the ground, responsible, more professional, of course, from the beginning as well. Since I've learned so much now, of course, we found more professional from the very beginning. But it's actually something I've thought about a lot of time, and I think the most the number one thing I would do differently if I were to start a micronation today would be the national flag. In two regards. Number one, Obscurium's flag is nice and all, but as a vexillologist, I have to be honest, and it's not perfect. It's far from perfect. Like, it has a
It
bit
will
too
never
much
be.
going on there, and it has too many, a bit too many
Element.
colors.
Mhm.
So it definitely would make a better flag, because there's always room for improvement. That having been said, of course, I am still happy with the Obscurian flag, and it's not gonna change. Because I think all citizens are
Yeah.
are also quite happy with
And
that.
too many changes are, off-putting for some people.
Exactly. So we're gonna stick to this flag now. It's part of our history. I mean, I guess you could improve the U.S. flag too, but they're not gonna change it now.
Well,
um,
they will always add one or subtract some stars from it. But yeah,
I don't know if they're ever gonna add a new state out. That's a whole other topic. But designing I wouldn't say perfect flag, but a really really good flag, like super good flag. That would be one thing, and the other thing would be actually have the citizens be okay with the flag from the very beginning. I mean, I'm certain now all Obscurian citizens are fine with this flag. But in the very beginning, I chose the flags, and even this flag I chose. Like, I asked the couple of citizens we had back then, uh, but it wasn't really that much of a democratic process. I kind of just implemented it.
well, you are a president after all, so you don't have to ask
I
anyone.
mean, yes, I am a presidente, but I still like to have the state run democratically. Theoretically, I can be a dictator and do whatever I want, but I don't don't like being a dictator.
That's nice of you.
So that's
So
definitely one
it's
thing
all
I would
about
change.
flag.
And yeah, the second point also ties into the flag. I would have the citizens be more strongly involved from the very beginning. Like, have them be involved in the actual foundation of the nation, because the foundation of the UPROM, which is what Obscurium was called back then, the United Peoples Republic of Mars, that was just me. I proclaimed it, I declared it, I did the I said here, I wrote everything. Like, we had Jesse and we had Kit, but they just said, okay, I guess I'll go along with this. There wasn't really.
Silent agreement.
I was basically running everything and
Yeah, you were the happy,
shaping the.
energetic one, and they were just, nodding to your
Yeah,
ideas.
I was just shaping the national identity on my own, not really not really giving them the opportunity to do something. So that would definitely be one thing. I mean, nowadays we are doing it, but if I were to start a new micronation, that would definitely be something I would be trying to do from the very beginning. Those two things.
Yeah, that's a great answer, actually.
My fifth question to you, yes, is
Yes.
that is quite an interesting one, I believe. Something I've not asked another a micronation before. What is Elevatia's greatest national treasure?
Yeah, well, this one, I guess my answer would sound probably like a cliche, but it's the family values who are actually our greatest national treasure.
Ah.
I think that a certain mindset and focus on family is something not only worthwhile, but I think more valuable than any possible material goods. But also we have some other physical curiosities if we are uh, looking at the physical stuff too. Like I have an example here, and it's not something really unique, but I have this a tooth from a megalodon here, for example,
Ooh.
which is a prehistoric shark.
Uh-huh.
So I have such thing, and that's something I have not here with me, but we also possess a deprecated molar tooth, another tooth of a mammoth. So that's something that's interesting, like a treasure. Well, there are some other memorabilia, but most of them are like having a personal value for us, and it's not something that I think outside world would really be interested in. So it's nothing too fancy, and again, I think that our greatest national treasure is just the family values and the core principles. I know it might sound boring and it's maybe overused, but
No, not
that's
at
my answer.
not at all. I mean, it is very touching, and family is the greatest treasure. Family, friends, and
Yeah,
the citizenry. That is, I mean, that is what makes a nation, right? If you didn't
yeah.
have
Every nation is
if you
based on
didn't
a
have your
family.
family, if you didn't have the citizens, what would the nation be? You know, you could have 100 megalodon teeth, but that wouldn't help. Unless
Exactly,
you
and
sow them in the ground and people grow out of them, but I think that was
we
dragon's
could
teeth.
try, but I'm not sure if it would work. So yeah, family is something that gives you support. It's something that you can strive to be better for. It's something that you can always rely on, and just just really the most important thing.
Here, here. You may ask your sixth question now.
Okay, so my sixth question would be, what would you see? What do you see as Obscurium's biggest achievement, or something that you think is the best thing you've done so far?
Well,
It's a big question too.
yes, that is a big question. Hmm. I guess the fact that just to get, it might also sound very generic, but just the fact that we managed to get to the point where we are right now. I mean, I didn't, this is just a very standard answer, I guess any micronationalist would give you in my position. But the fact that we've managed to get from one crazy guy sitting around with a fancy hat, shouting something about Mars, to actually having 14 citizens and drawing contests and cultural exchanges and micro Euro summits. The fact that we managed to get to this point in 5 years,
Yeah.
and the fact that that Obscurium is a stable micronation now, I think that is our biggest achievement.
Yeah, that's for sure, because there are so many micronations that are just come and go, as I've seen, even
Exactly.
for my short time
I mean,
in this.
3 years ago, when Obscurium was 3 years old, it was so inactive. Literally, it could have just been a point where I said, okay, I don't want to take care of this anymore. I don't care. I'm just gonna start a new one, or I'm just gonna stop with this, or going to join another micronation. But the
But
fact
you
that we
didn't.
actually pulled through, no,
Yeah, sometimes you have just to be stubborn to go through the hard times.
exactly, exactly. Just weather the storm. Don't hide from it.
Yeah, and in the end, it may just work for you.
Ah,
I agree. Just surviving is sometimes the biggest achievement for micronation.
yes.
And if you
Might sound a
not
bit
only
boring. Obscurium hasn't actually taken over territory, or forced the German government to let us live without taxes, or whatever. But I mean,
yeah,
this is
it's
our
true,
achievement.
but you've not only survived, but you've expanded and built upon it. So I
Exactly.
think it's an achievement in
Exactly.
real.
My last question to you is, well, tell us one thing that you have never told an outsider about Elvatia, if there is such a
Oh,
thing.
what a special question. I guess that would be more than just one thing, but it's always quite kind of hard to just think, what did I never told anyone? Because if you have something interesting, you are usually trying to project it outside to make people, be on the same page and interested in your project.
Yes,
But
yes, but there are always some little details you might be a bit embarrassed
yeah,
about. That is something I came up with on Declaration Day, and I told people about that. So I had the idea, why not ask you if if you
and I
had something like
and
that?
I thought just about one of such thing. We could talk about our money. It's maybe something that we've already conducted in our currency exchange, but we have never talked about one aspect of elevation currency. And I have it here with me. Just wait a moment. No, there's
I have
our
it too.
currency. You have it as well. And if you look at it, our currency, oh, our currency is called Elevation Van. And maybe, did you ever wonder why it's called like that?
Yes, I did.
So my answer would be that it's quite simple. It's named after Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Wow,
Van,
really?
his name.
I didn't expect
Because
that.
here in in Elevatia, yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about it. No one expects it because it sounds legit, but
Wow.
there's something more behind it. Because here in Elevatia, we are all kind of Star Wars fans, so
Nice.
we wanted to commemorate that in our currency, and it's small tongue-in-cheek reference. This is also why I often hail people with "Hello there," like I think in beginning of our call today. And one more thing, it's even in our constitution actually, if you've read it. Because
Unfortunately, I haven't. Forgive
yes,
me.
it's okay. I have my constitution here with me as well, and our original constitution signed up. That's
Oh, wow.
which made our nation. And under Article 8, we have it here. Under Article 8. When greeted "Hello there," every citizen is required to respond by General Kenobi.
You are a bold one.
Failure yeah, exactly. You know your stuff. So failure to do so results in a great personal shame. This can be somewhat lessened by a witty response when called out for this social protocol offense. And this is in our constitution. So when someone says "Hello there," if you are an Elevation citizen, you are obliged to respond General Kenobi.
Wow. That is a very important thing to have in a constitution, I think.
I think every nation
It
something
definitely
like
has
that.
my backing.
So that's actually two things new about Elevatia today.
Very,
But
very,
they're all
very lovely fun fact. Because I didn't know about that. I don't think anyone watching knew about that either.
Let's be honest, many people don't read the constitutions because they are usually full of legal stuff that's not
Oh, yes.
digestible. So we have far stuff in there, but also there's always a place for a little bit of fun.
Read constitutions, people. Sometimes there's fun stuff in there. That's
So
quite an interesting fun fact. And of course,
Thank you.
if you would like to learn more about the currency and its design, you can read the which was it, the March the May
May
the
one, I
March
think it's the
or
May one.
April issue of the Herald of
Oh,
Obscurity. I think we
yeah,
featured it there.
it was really nice, and thank you again for, have it in here there.
Well, thank you for the exchange.
Yeah, it was lovely, a lovely exchange, just like today.
Yes, just like today. And while we have we are finished with the questions now, and we learned quite a few new things about each other's countries. The exchange
That's
is
for
far
sure.
from over because we are getting to a very special part now, which has never been done before.
That's for sure. So we have one more project to do here, And as I remember, in your last exchange, you were drawing a great oak
Yes.
as a kind of joint activity. For today, we have something different here, which is something that I was idea from my side. But before we go to that, I just had one last minute idea when I was thinking about this.
Ooh.
And even we are not drawing a great oak, I just made a really quick one for you as a picture. It's a dragon, a great oak.
Oh my
Because,
dear
you know,
God,
dragon.
that looks beautiful.
Well, it's I will not pretend it's just all my work. It's AI generated imagery because there wasn't so much time for this. But
Still.
I think it's a small thing. I did it for
I mean,
for
usually
you. And
AI isn't known for good art, but that looks great.
thank you. I will even send you a better one after our call.
Please do. Please do.
Just one small thing, but now get to the real meat.
Dragon
And
Great
this
Orc.
is, oh yeah, what's better than Great Oak? Dragon Great Oak.
Precisely.
Everything's better.
The man knows what he's talking about.
So for our joint project, I was thinking that if we are exchanging, one thing that all nations are doing is establishing embassies. But for a micronation, I think even better would be to have a micro embassy. And that's something that means we could try make one, or we've already prepared it before.
Exactly.
Let's be honest, we have it here. It's our micro embassies, which is a small model which we can put together here now, and that will place it in our territory, or the place that we call our micronations, and we have it.
In this case, my office.
Yeah, in our new Elevatia, which you know what is now, and we just will have an embassy for one another, and this is the start of a great diplomatic relations now. So
Indeed.
we can just go for it.
I wouldn't know how to better start off a good diplomatic relationship. So
Thank you.
let us begin. I'm just gonna turn on the lights here.
So
And
we have this.
yeah.
Yes, I have this model here. It's just a really simple paper model that we can cut out, put together,
So do I.
use a glue, and it will be a model.
So basically, we designed we designed our
another
own embassy. So my embassy was designed by myself, and then
Yes, and I have your
embassy.
model designed by you, and you have my model designed by me.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, success.
we can get to it.
And while we are doing this, we can talk about what's in store for the future of our micronations.
That's true.
So, despite more successful diplomatic relations between our two countries, of course. Besides that. Do you have any plans for the near future of Elevatia?
Well, plans. I have many plans to be honest. I always have some plans, just like the one that I've talked to you in your question about our new night order. But as most of my plans is something that will probably come sometime in time, but it's not just ready yet. I also have an idea for elevation coat of arms for every citizen should have a right to bear a coat of arm, a personalized one.
I like
But
that.
thank you. But it's also something that's in the works. It's closer to be done than the order one, night order one, but it's still far from being at the state to be publicly announced.
Do you make your own coats of arms?
Yeah. designed a few ones for now. I'm no heraldic expert. I will be honest, but I think just like with micronation itself, we can make our own rules.
Exactly, and Elevatia's coat of arms does look great in my opinion. So
Oh, thank you.
despite you not being a quote-unquote heraldic expert.
Well, I've looked some things. I just made an inspiration from it.
I mean, you know, that's something.
I don't want to be completely off.
It's something I talked about. I talked about with a friend 2 days ago. There are a lot of heraldic experts in the world, and a lot of countries that claim to have like professional coats of arms. But when you actually look at a lot of them, they in many cases they do actually look like micronational coat of arms. The flags as well, and sometimes they break the rules of heraldry. They themselves hold so dear. So you know, if the experts don't even know what they're doing, sometimes we can definitely do whatever we want as long as it.
That's true.
As long as it looks good, I don't mind.
Yeah, and as the saying goes, the rules are here to be, broken.
Exactly. Like the only rule in heraldry that I just really don't hate to break is the rule of tincture. But as long as you leave the rule of tincture alone, all is good. And you definitely did that with Elevatia.
Thank you. Well, the first thing when we are designing our coat of arms was the colors. We've chosen our colors that represent our the colors we like, that are something special for us, and it all went from there. And in our coat of arms, we just try to have something that will scream, "It's us."
So where do the bears come from? Is that like your favorite animal, or?
Well, I think you will laugh when you hear the real reason, because as it's mentioned in our description of the coat of arms, those two bears are two bears we actually have in Elevatia, but those two bears are teddy bears.
Ah.
But don't tell anyone.
I won't. This is just between you, me, and the camera.
That's great. That's private enough.
I mean, it's not like anyone's ever going to watch this.
Maybe. Sad through maybe, but
Nah, I do believe people actually do watch these exchanges. I mean, you watched the counter-feeling exchange, which just proves the point.
That's true. I think that you had about 80 views or such on your last exchange when I was looking.
I don't remember how many views I don't think I ever looked at how many views the Atlian exchange had, but that one probably also got quite a few.
Not at the very least, some citizens of Obscurium should look at.
Oh yes.
Yeah, or at least you can make it mandatory for them to look at it.
As I say, I don't like to be a dictator. I don't like to force.
There's always a time when you have to be dictator.
If needs be, I'll just tie them to a chair like in a Clockwork Orange and like force their eyes home and force them to watch it from the beginning to end.
It could happen.
You will watch the exchange and you will like it.
Press the like, or you will be exiled. That's true. So, are there any Obscuriums projects that you can share with us today?
Well, besides the stuff I touched on earlier, we do plan on having the exchange with Mimas, but we also plan on having a small exchange with Zenith, because I'm going to visit him in person, as I said earlier, and as part of that, we're gonna have a little exchange. I touched on the drawing contest earlier. It's actually part of it, because all the drawings made by Obscurian citizens, we already have a few, for this contest, all of them will be collected by me afterwards, and then they will be burned. No, sorry, wrong contest. Then they will be taken. I will take them with me to Zenith, and I will give them to the people of Zenith as a gift from Obscurium.
And they can burn them.
Yes. And then they are going to give me drawings they made for this exchange, and I'm going to distribute these drawings to all Obscurian citizens, so they will get drawings from Zenith in return.
Oh. So not only a cultural exchange, but an art one.
Exactly. And with Mimas, we are gonna have a little cooking exchange, which is why it was so important for us to determine what our national food is. I mean, we did already have a national food, which is very simple. It's just a sandwich with salami and cheese. But that wasn't really...
Simple but effective.
Sorry?
Simple but effective.
Yes, but not really that sophisticated. Like, you know, if you wanna eat that for dinner, you're gonna have to make a lot of sandwiches. There's more something for in between, or if you're going outside on a trip or something. So we officially the vote is not over. It's going to end today at like around midnight. But basically every single citizen has voted. So I mean, by the time this video is out, it's gonna be official anyways. We have decided that what are they called? I'm looking for the word dumplings. Thüringer dumplings are going to be our new national food. Not just dumplings, specifically Thüringer dumplings, which are dumplings from East Germany. And
so,
we decided this is like something easy to make, not too complicated. Anyone can make it, and you can. You know, I mean, we said Thüringer dumplings because there's a funny German song about them, which half of our citizens don't even understand because they don't understand German. But even,
that's a good reason.
Like, the lyrics are complete and utter nonsense, so you don't really understand. But you can put
probably better reason than some other national foods in the real
exactly.
nations.
But you can vary them. You can put different stuff inside the dumplings. You can have vegetarian versions of them, and it's still gonna be the same basic food. So that's why we were all in agreement on making that the national food of Obscurium.
I like that idea.
And when I visit Mimas, it's gonna be the first time when I actually try them, because I've never had them before in my life.
And are they good?
I don't know. I've never had them before.
Yeah, of course, you didn't taste it.
No, so I'm very curious what they taste. I mean, they should taste very good. Obviously, I read through
well,
the recipe.
I hope you will not hate them.
No, I don't think I will. And I do believe we're going to call them dragon dumplings or something like that, because, you know, dragons.
That's a good idea.
We haven't voted on the name yet, but you know. That's just an idea I had just now, because I just remember we didn't actually talk about the name. I mean, we could
just
go.
Hope
We
people
could.
will not mispronounce it as a dragon dump.
That's a different thing.
No, but it could look different, similar. So be wary of that easy mistake.
No, we wouldn't have to. We want that to be the national dish now, would we?
Probably not.
No, that's. I mean, that's it for the summary. Lots of traveling, lots of meeting, and obviously when I'm gone, I won't really be able to do much for Obscurium, but my man Edward is taking care of foreign affairs, rewriting them as we speak, so that might happen when I'm gone, that he finishes up with that.
Yeah,
and he's also going to be editing the Herald, so I won't have to do that when I'm gone.
That's great. It's nice that you have people you can rely on.
Yeah, that's a good thing to have.
Just makes everything so much easier, doesn't it?
It does.
So how is your model going? I have
know.
lots of, things I have to shape now. So
Oh, you're already done with cutting it out?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I'm still cutting it because there are like so many little corners and it's far from perfect because I'm not very good like cutting little things. So
Yeah, I guess that's why I also printed a bigger version, an A3 version. But
oh yeah,
still,
I didn't have that idea unfortunately.
that's my backup plan. But actually doing an A4, a smaller version as well,
See,
just so we have the same format.
yes, a problem
But
for
this
me
was
would be because I don't have too much space in this room and I don't have any other space between
yeah, I
except
guess.
for this room, so I wouldn't know where to put up an A3 version.
I just hope that the design will be working in such small scale. Because,
I'm sure
no,
it
that
will
was
be.
for better or worse, we will make it work.
Yes, we will make it work.
Because if we can beat one small model, how can we rule a nation?
Exactly, exactly. It's also difficult doing this with sunglasses.
I can only imagine.
I just don't like having my face without sunglasses out online, you know.
That's part of our image.
That's all, you know. That's an issue of with being a micronationalist in Germany. It's not a bad thing to do micronationalism. It's fun. It's nice. It doesn't hurt anyone. But
Yeah, people are
when you're
people.
applying for a job and they find out, oh, this guy is like president of God knows what. We don't want him. He's probably a terrorist.
Although I'm not sure that the sunglasses are helping in your image not to be a terrorist.
No, but at least they won't recognize me right away. You're the guy with the sunglasses! And the thing is, if they do recognize me, that means they did some research in advance. And,
That's true.
I mean, if they recognize me after the fact, fair enough. But if they recognize me when I come in, oh, you're that guy, president of Obscurium, you know, I don't think they're gonna be, they're gonna have a negative opinion of Obscurium in that case.
That's true. Still, I would probably recommend you not to wear any turban.
Yes, that was actually in days no. I took down that picture because when I declared the UPROM, I actually wore a turban with sunglasses.
Yeah, definitely not a terrorist.
Yeah, and even had a big all red star on it and a Soviet flag in the background. That was a.
That's interesting mishmash of things.
Yeah, it looked very weird, and actually the hat doesn't exist anymore because it was just so badly made. I had it destroyed. Like, you know, national history, all good, and I'm usually all well and good, and I'm usually for preserving artifacts like that. But that thing was just I wore it one time. I was not proud of it at all, and yeah.
It was cursed, shortly.
Yeah, it was cursed. I didn't associate anything positive with it. So,
well, I guess your new image works better.
yeah. Now I have this nice Austrian hat, so.
Yeah, it's very nice.
I've never actually worn this before to an official occasion. This is like the first.
Oh,
No, actually, no, that's a lie. I wore it for my first state visit to Dictionary because that happened an hour after I bought it.
Oh.
But I've never worn it to an exchange because usually I have different hats to go along with my uniform. But I'm not wearing a uniform today. And my beret really doesn't go along with this shirt, so I took this hat, and that makes me look very Bavarian, in my opinion. But you know,
it looks very Bavarian. You're just missing, beer,
a
beer keg.
Beer stein, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I can get one. I have one. Difference because there are so many different dialects and accents and God knows what in Germany. So, and some people do know the difference between them.
Yeah, that's one of the things about micronations, that just when they are so huge, there are so many different types of people, different dialects, and in a way, we could say that there are micronations as well, micro cultures inside the big micronation. So it's just the same thing again and again, just on a different scale.
Exactly. And going back to that topic earlier with the coats of arms and all that. My friend said when we looked at pictures and also of like people in military uniforms of like legitimate macronations, and of, I don't remember which order of knights it was, but of a order of knights, and they changed their uniform to something. It looked very micronational. He just said, "These are all micronationalists in the closet. They haven't come out with it yet, but they are all micronationalists in reality."
They
so.
want to be, but they don't know it yet.
Yeah, exactly. They don't know it yet, or they don't wanna be public about it.
That's nice.
Basically, every macronation is a micronation. They just don't want to admit it.
Yeah, that's true. Mom, Dad, I have to tell you one thing. Micronation was. We always knew, son. We always knew.
Yeah, eventually, Joe Biden is just gonna reveal the truth to us. Okay.
So how's your model going?
Yeah, I think I should have chosen thinner paper or something. It's very
Actually, I have to say I'm quite happy with my thin paper.
Yeah, exactly.
And I thought it would be a nightmare to put together, but
This is not
so
like
malleable.
going to look as I envisioned it, but
Don't worry, I think I will have the same problem.
I think next time, if we, as you suggested, if we make a more sophisticated version of these models, I'm gonna delegate the duty to another citizen who has better fingers than I do, because I'm not gonna get a much better model with my fingers.
You should find some surgeon in your micronation.
Oh yes, I need to recruit a surgeon, and then. Okay, the truth is, I only recruit you because I need you to build this model.
Yeah, that's a good reason. I think
Right.
perfectly understandable.
Like you can see how it's coming together, but now I have to figure out how to bend everything correctly so it stays on when I glue it.
Yeah, you should pre-bend everything if I can,
Exactly.
give you an advice. Don't forget that you have to bend also all the corners, even if it's not highlighted there as much.
Yeah. All the corners. That's the cornerstone of the model.
True.
Okay.
I have the base. I just need to finish the roof now.
So it doesn't rain inside. That will not be very nice.
Oh, thankfully it's already inside, so it should be protected.
That's true. You're just gotta be careful when you water your plants.
Yeah, that could make a really diplomatic catastrophe if I would water your embassy.
That's it. Diplomatic relations cancelled.
Immediate war.
War declared.
Reason?
Next time I visit Czechia, I'm going to invade you.
And we will confiscate all your, watering cans and destroy them because they are sworn enemies.
Yes. Oh my god, I'm gonna make a movie about it, like Kick-Assia, Kick-Assia 2, but it's Obscurium and Elevation.
I think that would be a blockbuster.
Have you ever watched Kick-Assia?
I heard about it, but didn't watch it.
Oh, it's the classical micronational movie.
I have to set the time for. To be honest, I don't have time for movies really much.
I mean,
usually.
yeah, neither do I.
So I have a backlog of tens, maybe hundreds of movies and things and games that I would like to see and play, but
Don't I know
with,
about that?
the family is great, as I said before, but it doesn't leave you with much time.
Yeah, precisely. My friend Arthur of Dictionary also hadn't watched Kick-Assia, so last time I visited it, we actually sat down together and watched it.
Oh, great! Did he like it?
Yes, well, he was very confused. I mean,
I can imagine from what I've heard.
thing is, if you don't know too many movies and such, because it was made by a group of people who make movie reviews and such, so there are lots of movie and pop
Hidden
culture
jokes,
references, and
Yeah.
he didn't get like most of them.
I can get behind that. I know people who are not a fan of movie going, and they can be confused at every little reference to.
Exactly. I mean, I'm sure I didn't get every single one either, but
Well, for first time watching, you usually never do with a good
yeah,
movie.
yeah. And then later on,
That's
oh,
why we
that
have
was that.
multiple views. And then you read some summary about it, and you just think, "Oh, I missed two. That two. It's just right there." Ah,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
have
That's
to
why. That's
look
why.
better.
Whenever I watch something, I like to watch like someone else's summary of it afterwards. So just because they
Yeah,
sometimes see things I don't.
yeah. Point new things. That's true. So I think that model of Obscurium's embassy is finished on my part.
Mine, it's just I don't think the glue wants to hold.
What
I
type
think I
of
have
glue
to.
are you using?
I have to get better glue. Hold on.
I use paper glue, Hercules it's called, and it's quite good for this. So here are the little doors and windows, and there's a plaque uh, here that says Embassy of the United Republic of Obscurium. It's quite nice. It's a lovely design.
Off screen, they had a bit of a problem with the glue, but I think it's holding now.
Wow! Your model is almost completed now.
Yes,
How
exactly.
did
I
you
did this
manage
like
it in
in 2 seconds.
such a short time?
You just weren't seeing it.
Yeah, it's the power of El Presidente, I guess.
Yeah, there we go. The roof is like a little, not exactly perfect, but
Just don't look at it much.
it looks good enough.
Yeah, I think your model is quite well too.
there's
Or
this big, there's this big hole in
Obscurium.
here.
We will fix it later.
Yeah, I'll call the roof workers and they'll fix
I
it.
just add a big umbrella above it.
Exactly. I'll just put a little umbrella, like a little paper umbrella. I think that would actually be cool.
Maybe you could use one of those little umbrellas to cocktail drinks.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what I
that would
mean.
be
That's what I
awesome.
mean. I'll go into the
Oh,
kitchen later and see if I got one of those.
that would be quite snazzy model.
Now my hands are like really full of glue. Let's see your model.
Oh, so here's I hope it's you can see it.
Yes, I can.
This is the model. Yeah, it's
Nice.
there's a little plaque that says
The plague.
embassy plaque, yeah, plaquette, embassy of the United Republic of Obscurium. So here there's a little door, a little window.
Are you
Here's
a
the
fan?
flag. And the...
Are you a fan of the Simpsons?
Oh yeah, of course.
Like there's this
So,
scene
imagination, who isn't?
there's this scene that just came to my mind. When Homer gets rehired by Mr. Burns and he gets the special demotivational plaque. But Mr. Burns accidentally
Oh,
says, "It's company policy to give you the plague." Sir, that's
yeah,
not the
yeah, I
plaque.
remember now. Well, one thing or another, it's almost the same thing.
Yeah, I have a little plague here too.
Nice.
Lovely.
So I think in the end our models went quite right.
Indeed. I think they did.
I think that we can say that our embassies are open, ready to be open.
Exactly. Step right in.
Yeah, just if there are any lost citizens of Obscurium here, they can just come in and
Yeah,
have their
I think
problems dealt.
I think you have a lot of Elevation citizens running around here. Just
Small
waiting
citizens.
for someone to represent them.
Splendid, just splendid.
Aye. Well, hold on. Let me actually go into the kitchen and see if I have any umbrellas. I'm curious now.
Did you find it? Oh, nice.
I can't hear you. So, ich habe mir ein bisschen Bier geholt, ja. Prost.
Just a little song and it will be awesome.
Just so you can see the full my full Bavarian outfit.
It's incredible impression.
Right, it's still recording, so it just recorded, but I'm gonna cut that out.
I think we will have interesting times trying to put it all together.
Oh yes. So I just came back from the kitchen. I got a little umbrella for
Amazing.
To protect the roof. I just gonna get this rubber band off it. All right.
Nice.
See, I'm true. I'm true to my word. There we
Now,
go.
this will be quite dandy building.
And this goes right here. Isn't this beautiful?
Love it. It is beautiful. It really warms my heart. Seeing the special attention our embassy is giving.
Exactly. This is gonna have a place of honor in Obscurium.
I just hope no one will try to drink from it.
Actually, I might just...
It's quite difficult putting all the layers in.
It's a difficult setup, yes. Actually, I might just put this little figurine of the Krakonosh next to it. I got from Czechia.
Nice.
So you know we'll have the combination, or maybe I'll put him on the roof or something.
Kind of mega Krakonosh.
He's just enjoying the sun, you know.
I never knew a Krakonosh is part of our citizens, or maybe he wants to be one. That's interesting to know.
Maybe you should ask him.
Now is the time to expand our citizenry.
Yes.
I just hope that Trautenberg wouldn't try to be here as well.
Well, yeah, we finished our models and even some extra.
Yeah, it's a very special extra. I think that on my part it's quite bland now next to your model.
I mean, you know, at least your roof is intact.
Yeah, it's quite solid actually.
I mean, you managed to glue it properly. I messed the roof part quite up, but you know I compensated with this, so I think it's
The umbrella is more than a compensation in my eyes.
It's balanced out quite well.
It's awesome.
Yes. So with that the exchange comes to an end, but I think it was quite a fun and entertaining and
It was lovely.
experience. Yes, lovely. And I would like
Lots
to
of
thank
fun.
you from bottom of my heart for agreeing to this, for taking your time to be here and do this alongside
Thank you as
me,
well for having me here.
and for coming up with this idea, because this was your idea after all, and the way it turned
I
out,
think
I love
it worked. It was kind of difficult, but the idea is working.
Exactly.
Maybe we can expand it upon it one day.
Precisely. And of course, thank you all for watching and for your interest in both of our nations. To end this, would you like to tell the good people watching this where to find Elevatia?
Oh yes, you can find us on our website. So we have a website. It's Elevatia .eu. You can find us on a MicroWiki, as most of the micronations, and we have our official Twitter account that we didn't post much in the last time, but I will try to, be better. And that's probably the most information you can get about us.
Oh, there you go. Obscurium, of course, can be found at obscurium.info, and everything else is linked there. So thanks again for watching.
It was
Thank you for
really nice. Thank you for inviting me and for taking your time and for making our little, buildings and for having
was all mine.
fun and information together.
The pleasure was all mine. Until the next time, goodbye. Cheers.
Goodbye and have a great rest of your day.
Nasredanu.
Auf Wiedersehen.